In the vastness of space, a sleek spaceship glided silently toward Earth. Inside the ship, a group of aliens laughed and chatted among themselves. They were the Zandari, a highly advanced race known for their intelligence and technology. They had traveled far to explore Earth, a planet they believed was full of weak and primitive beings. As the Zandari ship descended through the atmosphere, its smooth hull reflected the bright blue sky. The aliens looked out through the windows, excited to see the planet below. "Look at those tiny creatures," one alien named Zorak said with a chuckle. "They think they are powerful, but they are nothing compared to us." The ship landed softly in a grassy field, far from any city. The Zandari stepped out, their shiny skin shimmering in the sunlight. They had long limbs and large, bright eyes, and they wore sleek suits that sparkled with technology. The aliens looked around, curious and amused by the simple beauty of Earth. "Let's see how they live," Zorak said, leading the way. The group wandered through the field and soon came across a small village. The aliens observed humans going about their daily lives. They saw farmers planting seeds, children playing, and families cooking together. To the Zandari, everything seemed laughably simple. "Look at them struggle to lift that heavy cart," another alien named Fira said, pointing at a farmer struggling to move his load. The Zandari burst into laughter, their voices echoing through the field. "How can they call themselves the dominant species?" Zorak mocked, shaking his head. As they continued to watch, the aliens noticed a human child sitting alone under a tree. The child had found an injured bird on the ground. Instead of laughing, the child gently picked up the bird and cradled it in their hands. The child's face showed concern and care. "What a waste of time," Zorak said, snickering. "That bird is weak. Why not let it go?" Fira rolled her eyes. "Maybe they think they can save it." "Silly creatures," she replied, crossing her arms. The aliens watched as the child carefully wrapped the bird in a small piece of cloth and took it home. They could not understand why a human would go to such lengths for a simple animal. "Let's test their strength," Zorak suggested, growing bored. "We can create challenges for them to prove their weakness." The other aliens nodded eagerly, thinking it would be fun to show how much better they were than humans. As the sun began to set, casting a golden light over the village, the Zandari gathered to discuss their plans. They decided to create 3 challenges: a race, a strength test, and a puzzle. Each challenge would highlight their advanced skills compared to the primitive humans. "Tomorrow we will call them out!" Zorak exclaimed, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "We will show them how laughable they are." The next day, the aliens set up their challenges in the village square. They used advanced technology to create obstacles that would be difficult for any human to overcome. The aliens smiled, imagining how easily they would win. When the villagers arrived, they were confused but curious. They saw the aliens with their strange suits and glowing devices. The humans whispered among themselves, wondering what was happening. Zorak stood tall, looking down at the humans. "Welcome, Earthlings! We challenge you to show us your strength and skills. Let us see how you fare against us." The villagers looked at each other, unsure of what to do. They had never faced beings like these before, but one thing was clear: the Zandari did not think much of them. Little did the aliens know, they were about to learn that humanity's strength came from something far deeper than mere physical ability. On a distant planet known as Hellworld, life was very different from Earth. The sky was a strange shade of red, and the ground was covered in sharp rocks and thick, poisonous plants. The air was hot and filled with the sounds of strange creatures. This was where many humans had been sent to live and survive. The humans on Hellworld were tough and brave. They had learned to adapt to the harsh environment. They built strong shelters from the thick, twisted trees and used the sharp rocks to create tools. Every day was a challenge, but they did not give up. They worked together, sharing food and helping each other in times of need. In a small village near a river, a group of humans gathered to discuss their plans for the day. The village leader, a wise woman named Mira, stood in front of them. She had lived on Hellworld for many years and had seen many challenges. Her face was weathered, but her spirit was strong. "Today we need to gather food," Mira said, looking at her people. "The monsters are out, but we can't let fear stop us. We must find safe berries and hunt for fish in the river." The villagers nodded, ready to follow her lead. They knew the dangers of Hellworld. Huge creatures roamed the land, and many were deadly. Some were covered in thick scales, while others had sharp claws. But the humans were smart. They had learned to track the creatures and avoid them. As they walked through the dense forest, the humans used their knowledge of the land. They spotted berries that grew high in the trees. With teamwork, they formed a human ladder to reach the fruits. Laughter filled the air as they helped each other climb. They knew that together they could overcome any obstacle. Meanwhile, in the river, two young boys named Kieran and Jalen decided to fish. They crafted simple fishing rods from sticks and used worms as bait. As they waited for a bite, they talked about their dreams. "I want to explore beyond this world," Kieran said, eyes shining with hope. "I want to see what else is out there." Jalen laughed. "You're dreaming! We can barely survive here." But deep down, he admired his friend's courage. The boys watched the water ripple, waiting patiently. Finally, they felt a tug on their lines and quickly pulled up two small fish. They cheered, excited to bring food back to their village. Back at the village, Mira gathered everyone to share the day's catch and berries. They sat around a fire, cooking the fish and telling stories of their adventures. Each story was filled with danger, laughter, and hope. The humans had learned to find joy even in the hardest times. They knew they were strong, shaped by the challenges of Hellworld. That night, as the stars twinkled in the strange sky, the villagers shared their fears. "What if one day we can't survive?" a woman named Alara asked, her voice trembling. Mira placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "We have each other. As long as we stand together, we will always find a way." Little did the humans know that their strength and unity would soon be tested. As they slept, the Zandari aliens were observing from afar, still underestimating the humans' abilities. The aliens believed they were powerful and that the humans were weak. They could not see the fire of survival burning in the hearts of the humans on Hellworld. The next day, the humans woke up ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They had learned to work with the land and each other, proving that even in the most dangerous places, they could survive. Their determination to thrive on Hellworld showed that strength comes not just from muscles, but from the heart. The villagers were prepared to face the Zandari challenges soon to come, unaware that their skills forged in the flames of adversity would turn the tide in ways no one could predict. The sun rose over the village, casting a warm light on the humans as they prepared for the challenges the Zandari aliens had set for them. The villagers gathered in the square, a mix of curiosity and nervousness on their faces. They had heard whispers about the aliens' plans, and now the time had come to face their strange visitors. Zorak, the leader of the Zandari, stood tall in the square. His shiny skin glimmered in the sunlight, and his large eyes sparkled with excitement. "Welcome, Earthlings," he announced. "We are here to show you who is strong and who is weak. Today, you will compete against us in 3 challenges." The villagers exchanged worried glances. They had never faced beings like the Zandari before, but Mira stepped forward. "We accept your challenge," she said bravely, her voice steady. The crowd murmured in agreement, ready to defend their honor. The first challenge was a race across a field filled with obstacles. The Zandari had created a course with tall walls, swinging ropes, and deep pits. Zorak smiled, confident that the humans would struggle. "Ready, set, go!" he shouted. The humans dashed forward, their hearts pounding. Kieran and Jalen, the 2 boys from the village, led the way. They climbed the walls using teamwork, helping each other reach the top. They stumbled and fell, but they got back up, determined to finish. The Zandari watched in disbelief as the humans navigated the course with a blend of speed and creativity. One alien shouted, "Look at them! They're actually doing it!" Zorak's expression shifted from amusement to worry as he saw the humans working together. The boys reached the finish line, panting but grinning. The villagers cheered, and Zorak realized he had underestimated their spirit. The second challenge was a strength test. The aliens brought out a heavy stone, bigger than any human could lift. "Who will try to move this rock?" Zorak challenged. The villagers looked at each other, unsure. Mira stepped forward again. "I will try!" With all her might, Mira pushed against the stone. It didn't budge, but she didn't give up. The villagers cheered her on, and she kept pushing. Kieran joined her, then Jalen, and soon others began to help. Together they formed a human chain, using their combined strength. Slowly, the rock began to move. The Zandari gasped in astonishment. "How is this possible?" Fira asked, her eyes wide. The humans cheered as they finally rolled the stone to the designated spot. They had shown that their strength came not just from muscles, but from unity and determination. The final challenge was a puzzle. The aliens set up a complicated device made of glowing blocks that had to be arranged in a specific order. The Zandari were sure this would be easy for them. "We'll solve this in no time," Zorak boasted. But as the aliens tried to figure it out, they became frustrated. The blocks moved in strange ways, and their advanced technology seemed useless. Meanwhile, the humans watched, puzzled but curious. Kieran had an idea. "Let's work together again," he suggested. The villagers huddled together, discussing ideas. They began to notice patterns and used their knowledge of teamwork to solve the puzzle. As they worked, laughter filled the air. They shared stories, encouraged one another, and soon they had arranged the blocks correctly. When the final block clicked into place, the crowd erupted in cheers. The Zandari stood in shock, unable to believe what they had just witnessed. Zorak clenched his fists. His laughter turned to silence. "This can't be!" he exclaimed, realizing that the humans were far more capable than he had imagined. The challenges had tested the humans in ways they never expected. With every victory, they grew more confident, showing the Zandari that strength was not just about physical power, but also about teamwork, determination, and the will to survive. As the villagers celebrated their unexpected success, the Zandari began to rethink their views on humanity. They had come to mock, but were now faced with a reality they never anticipated. The battle for respect had just begun. After the challenges, the atmosphere in the village was electric. The humans celebrated their victories, laughing and sharing stories of how they had outsmarted the Zandari. However, amid the joy, Mira felt a nagging worry. The aliens had underestimated them. But what would happen when the truth about Hellworld was revealed? The next day, the Zandari returned to the village. Zorak looked different, less confident than before. "We need to talk," he said, his tone serious. "We thought you were weak, but you surprised us. We want to know more about you and this planet." Mira stepped forward, her heart racing. "What do you want to know?" she asked. The villagers stood close, ready to defend their home if needed. Zorak took a deep breath. "You live here on Hellworld, a place we thought was only a wasteland. But we see now that you thrive despite the dangers. How do you do it?" Mira hesitated, then spoke with honesty. "Hellworld is harsh, but it is our home. We have learned to adapt. We find strength in each other and in our determination to survive." The villagers nodded in agreement, pride swelling in their chests. As Mira spoke, Kieran felt the weight of his curiosity. "Why did you come here? What do you want from us?" he asked, looking straight at Zorak. The villagers quieted, eager to hear the aliens' response. Zorak glanced at his fellow aliens before answering. "We came to test you, to see if you were worthy of joining our alliance. We believed that a species capable of surviving on Hellworld could be useful to us. But now, I wonder if we are the ones who need to learn from you." The villagers exchanged glances, unsure of how to react. Mira took a step closer. "You think we are useful? We are just trying to survive." Zorak nodded, understanding the weight of her words. "Survival is not to be taken lightly. We have witnessed your resilience. We have seen how you work together. It is admirable." Suddenly, a loud roar echoed from the forest, shaking the ground. The villagers froze in fear, remembering the dangers of Hellworld. "What was that?" Jalen whispered, his eyes wide. Zorak's face darkened. "A predator. It must have wandered close to your village. You must be careful. Hellworld is filled with creatures that hunt." Mira felt a chill run down her spine. "What do we do?" she asked, her voice steady despite the fear inside her. The Zandari had come to test them, but now they were in danger. "We will help you," Zorak said, surprising everyone. "We know how to deal with predators. Let us fight together." The villagers exchanged unsure glances. Could they trust these aliens? Before they could decide, the roar grew louder, and the ground trembled as a massive creature emerged from the trees. It was covered in thick, spiked armor, with sharp claws and glowing eyes that shone like fire. The humans gasped, realizing this was no ordinary beast. "Stay back!" Zorak shouted, pushing the humans behind him. The Zandari prepared for battle, their weapons glowing. Mira felt a surge of determination. This was their home, and they would not let anyone take it from them. "Wait!" Mira yelled. "We can do this together!" She turned to her villagers. "Remember what we learned in the challenges? We are strong when we work together." The villagers nodded, recalling their victories. They had outsmarted the Zandari and survived Hellworld. With a shared goal, they quickly grabbed their makeshift weapons and formed a line beside the aliens. As the creature charged, the humans and the Zandari worked in sync. The villagers used their knowledge of the land to set traps while the Zandari used their advanced technology. Together they fought fiercely, combining their strengths against the beast. Finally, with a coordinated effort, they managed to defeat the creature. Exhausted but triumphant, the villagers and Zandari stood together, panting and covered in dirt. They had faced a common enemy and emerged victorious. Zorak looked at the humans with newfound respect. "You are not just survivors. You are warriors. Maybe we have much to learn from each other after all." As the sun set over Hellworld, the humans and Zandari began to forge a new alliance. They had unveiled the truth about each other, strength in unity, and a bond had formed, stronger than either had expected. The village was alive with excitement after the battle. The sun shone brightly, casting a warm glow on the faces of the humans and Zandari. They had fought together and won against the terrifying creature that had threatened their home. Now they were no longer just aliens and humans, they were allies, friends even. Mira stood in the center of the village, surrounded by her fellow villagers and Zorak, the Zandari leader. "We did it!" she shouted, her voice filled with joy. "Together we proved that we are stronger united." The villagers cheered, their hearts swelling with pride. Kieran grinned at Jalen. "I can't believe we took down that beast. We should celebrate!" Zorak nodded, his expression more relaxed than before. "We have much to learn from each other. Your bravery is admirable." His words filled the humans with happiness, and they felt a sense of respect from the Zandari that they had not felt before. As the villagers began to prepare a feast, Mira approached Zorak. "What do Zandari eat?" she asked curiously. Zorak looked thoughtful. "We consume energy from special plants and liquid from our ships. But I am eager to try your food." With that, the humans set to work. They gathered fruits, vegetables, and grains from their fields. The aroma of roasting meats filled the air, mixing with the scents of fresh bread and herbs. Soon, a long table was set in the village square, decorated with flowers and colorful cloths. When the feast was ready, the villagers invited the Zandari to join them. Zorak looked around, amazed at the spread before him. "This is incredible," he exclaimed. "You have so many different kinds of food." As they sat down together, the humans shared their dishes, explaining each one. Mira handed Zorak a piece of roasted meat. "Try this!" "It's delicious." Zorak took a bite, his eyes widening in surprise. "This is wonderful," he said, chewing eagerly. The villagers laughed and enjoyed watching the Zandari taste their food. The atmosphere was filled with laughter and warmth. For the first time, the Zandari saw the humans as more than just survivors of a harsh world. They saw them as friends. As the sun set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Zorak stood up to speak. "Today we did not just win a battle, we forged a friendship. You have shown me the strength of your spirit and the beauty of your culture. I am grateful." The humans clapped, moved by his words. Mira stood up next. "And we are thankful for your help. We never thought we could fight alongside aliens. This is the beginning of a new chapter for both our people." After the feast, they decided to share stories. The humans talked about their lives on Hellworld, sharing tales of survival against the many dangers they faced. Zorak and the other Zandari listened intently, fascinated by the resilience of the humans. In turn, the Zandari shared stories of their travels across the galaxy, the strange planets they had visited, and the wonders they had seen. The villagers were captivated by their tales, imagining worlds far beyond their own. As the night wore on, the stars began to twinkle in the sky. The humans and Zandari sat around a large fire, their hearts filled with a sense of camaraderie. They laughed, shared food, and exchanged stories, breaking down the barriers that had once separated them. Mira glanced at Zorak, who was animatedly describing a planet filled with glowing plants. She realized that they were no longer just allies, they were friends. This friendship had been born from respect and understanding, and it would change both their worlds. As the fire crackled and the night deepened, a sense of hope blossomed. Together, they could face any challenge that came their way. The humans had shown the Zandari the strength of their spirit, and the Zandari had shown the humans that they were not alone in the universe. With new friends by their side, the villagers felt a sense of security and excitement for the future. The alliance between the humans and Zandari would thrive, paving the way for a new era of cooperation and exploration. As the last embers of the fire glowed in the dark, both humans and Zandari knew that their journey together had only just begun. They would explore the stars and discover what lay beyond their worlds, united as friends against the unknown.